Are you an artist? Are you an engineer? Does the world feel straight, or do things get weird? Anything at all, anything at all you need. Do you live your life in the center of a crowd? Do you stand off to the side to watch how things play out? Anything at all, anything at all you need. Doesn't it feel easier to walk on your own feet? Pass out on the fader and sing yourself to sleep. When you lose your faith at the state of things, when your heart gets turned by the focus ring, anything at all, anything at all you need. It's a counterweight, it's a souvenir for the work that lies ahead, the inner voice that no one hears. Anything at all, anything at all, anything at all, anything at all you need.
Denison Witmer is our guest at XPN, and that was Focus Ring from his new album, Anything at All. First, thanks for being here. Thanks for playing, and congratulations on this album.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
I always sort of get obsessed with, track listing and sequencing and stuff like that. And listening to the album, that song specifically to me really kind of sets the tone for the album. And you have some simple lyrics in this song that kind of take on bigger messages in my mind. And I'm kind of curious right out of the gate, is that song really just a call for kindness and generosity?
It is. Yeah, I mean, that's an astute observation. I mean, in a lot of ways, it's the title track of the record because the refrain of the song is anything at all, anything at all. And any of us who have any empathy, or who care about people in our community or our family or anything, like when someone's in a tough situation, we're very quick to extend that sentiment to them. It's like, if there's anything at all you need, I'm here for you. Just tell me anything at all. And I started to really realize that I needed to tell that to myself as well. So it's kind of it's a bit of both. It's that, extending kindness to others, but also extending kindness to yourself and extending grace to yourself. And this record is a lot about kind of coming to terms with that, like inward kindness and outward kindness. So I think you got it spot on.
Well, I think that sentiment too, I feel like you explore it through different relationships on this record. I hear parenthood on here. I hear connections to nature and friendship, which may be the most obvious one because your good friend and longtime collaborator Sufjan Stevens helped produce this record on, I think, just about every track. And I'm curious, how this project got started between the two of you.
Yeah, well, so we have collaborated on music before in the sense that he's come into the studio and played on my records. He's just been in for like a day or two. Or I was in his band many, many years ago, the Michigan Militia. We've always stayed in touch through music, but we kind of developed a friendship outside of music as well. And then it, he was on his own trajectory and I was doing my own thing, and we never we didn't continue making music together consistently, other than just like here and there. And then when this record came around, I think he could sense that I was like starting to feel that urge to make another album, but not really knowing how to get started, because I was so busy with my family life, and I think it was just a kind, friendly gesture that he extended to me, which was just, hey, let's get together and record a few songs and see how you feel. And I honestly thought that he was just offering to help me get started.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to his studio. We started recording. And I think we got like 9 songs done in 3 days or something. When I say done, I mean the sketches of the songs kind of like figured out. And I had already planned to go to Seattle at that point and finish my record with the producer who made my last record, a guy named Andy Park, who did do a lot of work on Anything at All as well. And so I went out there, we worked on the record for a week, and I came home, and Sufjan and I listened to the songs. And, it became apparent to me after listening to the songs that he wanted to actually finish them. And I didn't know that. I honestly didn't know. I just didn't take it for granted, because I was thinking like, well, Sufjan's kind of, he's sought after, so I had made no expectations that he would even want to make a whole record with me. He and I then went through all the tracks, and we said, okay, well, what's working for you? What's not working for you? Like, what can I compromise on? What am I in love with that we did in Seattle that I don't want to let go of? And then we kind of just reworked the entire record from there.
The results are beautiful.
Thank you.
I read that payment didn't really come in the form of a check, so to speak, huh?
No.
Explain how you kind of, it was like barter. It was like trade almost,
yeah,
right?
It was. I mean, well, I'm also a carpenter. I have a carpentry business out in Lancaster. So I build custom cabinetry. I build really anything anybody needs. I started in like historic millwork, and people kind of come to me when they need something very niche, very specific. And Sufjan's building a house, and he needs a kitchen table. And so he asked me if I'd build him a table, and I said, well, yeah, absolutely. And I thought he was going to pay me for it. This was before we were making the record. And then I was like, well, what do you want me to pay you for this record? And he was like, just make me something. And I was like, well, how about the kitchen table? And he's like, sure. So it's a trade. I've got to make him probably the nicest thing I've ever made,
Yeah.
He's going to have to wait a while, because it's going to take me a while.
Seed pod in the wind, where do I begin? I'm looking for a place that I can land among the trees, whose shade I grow beneath. I'm picturing a world made for me. If I don't make time for it, it will never happen. If I don't make time for it, it will never happen. A tree falls in the forest of my inner life. It doesn't make a sound. Does anybody care? I'm busy planting trees whose shade I'll never see. I'm picturing a world without me, busy planting trees whose shade I'll never see. I'm picturing a world without me, questioning my own self-worth. I tried that, but it only hurts. Never got me anywhere. Busy planting trees whose shade I'll never see. I'm picturing a world without me, busy planting trees whose shade I'll never see. I'm picturing a world without me.
That's Denison Witmer on XPN. Shade I'll Never See. I hear that song, and it's fun to hear it in this setting because in your music, I feel like you use space so well. In talking about your collaboration with Sufjan Stevens, it's almost like when you give a little space, he fills in.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It is. I mean, it sounds sort of easy, but was that collaboration actually easy, or is it tough to work with somebody like that?
No, it wasn't difficult. I mean, I remain very flexible when I make records with people because it's one of the only opportunities I have to feel like I'm in a band, you know? And so like when I'm arranging with someone else and they bring ideas, and it's just fun to try anything out, you know? We kept a very open mind about all the arrangements, in the sense that like anything that went through our mind as a possible idea, we would just try it. And if it didn't work, then we just delete it, you know, and move on.
Feels
really
like
cool.
You complement each other really well in that sense.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, it's interesting because he's obviously a very heavy-handed producer, just in the sense that he has a particular sound, and it's fun to hear my song kind of in that context,
sure.
You know. But it doesn't feel strange to me either, you know. And if he sensed that I was feeling off about something, or like that I didn't think something was working, he was very quick to just pull it back and kind of just let me push it in the direction that I wanted it to go.
That sort of, you know, you're talking a little bit about the sonic textures of that song. I want to move a little bit to the lyrics in that song because I alluded to parenthood before, and there's a line in there. It says, and it's kind of the title of the song, "I'm busy planting trees whose shade I'll never see." That sounds to me like somebody with an eye to the future, you know, and almost like I want to leave this in a better state for the next generation, for my kids. As a parent, how has that changed your approach to making music?
Wow, that's a really good question. I mean, it's changed it in the sense that I have less dedicated time to go into the to what I see as like the solace space that I need to be creative. Like it's true that, you know, if you don't make time for it, you don't do it, you know? So for me, I really have to carve out dedicated time to do things now. And parenting has kind of pushed me into that corner, but in a good way. And, you know, I'm happy for it because it's helped me organize. Whereas everything just used to be a lot more lax.
You get to it when you get to it.
Yeah, exactly. I do look at my children and see them as they're getting older. Like I have a 13-year-old now who's very good at playing any instrument that they pick up. And I'm like, oh, I just need to foster this, you know, this creativity. And I see myself as kind of not trying to get out of the way, because that's the wrong way of putting it. But like, it is a time of like shepherding and kind of like teaching. And I want that for my kids. And I don't need it to be about me anymore, you know. I made a record in 2020 called American Foursquare. So it was a record about when I moved back to Lancaster, where I live now, from Philadelphia. And it really messed me up because I was like, what am I doing with myself? Like, how do I see myself operating in the world? And I always thought I was a city person, but then I became this like person who lived in a smaller town, and like, you know, and also it's the place I grew up. So there's like all this baggage that I had to unpack, you know. And that record kind of became a record about coming to terms with the new phase of life. And then out of that record comes Anything at All, which is a record about putting systems in place to live the life that I want to live, you know, and to look forward, and try to just be mindful about how compounding our lives are. I think all of us make decisions, you know, that we don't really realize what the ripple effect of those things are. And so like I feel like everybody I know right now is like trying to slow things down as much as possible so that they can be intentional, and that hopefully with intention they're building something like that's compounding, you know, that will last a long time. And so that's what that song's about. I mean, it's a Greek proverb, isn't it? I mean, like it's actually, I think it's a Greek proverb, to plant trees whose shade you'll never sit under. But that song is also taken from an Eric Carle book called A Tiny Seed. It's a book that I read to my kids over and over again every night. And it's about this seed that's like, floating in the wind and then lands and doesn't actually flourish and then carries on and then finds a place and then grows into a huge plant. And so, there's a few songs that I honestly have kind of stolen is the wrong word, but lifted ideas from children's books, and kind of, because you're reading the book and you're like, well, this really hits. It's like, hits me now, so
you can still learn these lessons.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly. Timeless lessons.
The last song you're going to play for us is Making Love. Anything you want to tell us about this?
Yeah, I mean, it's still on the theme of, that compounding offering of empathy and love. The one thing about this record is that, I tried not to be too clever with my lyrics. I've had a whole, I don't know, this is my 13th record, 14th record. I've had a lot of time to just like write in more artistic ways lyrically, but there's something about this record that I just wanted to be very direct and almost even veer into the cliche a little bit, like, which is dangerous territory because it can fall flat, but I was thinking about the phrase making love, it's like everybody obviously associates that with sex, but at the same time I was thinking, what does it really mean? What does it mean to live a life where if you just focus on what love is and put that forward? And so I don't know, I'm taking myself to task in that song too, because I think that I don't always do the best job of putting love first. I think all of us are kind of, when I say all of us, maybe not all of us, me personally, I struggle with that balance of when I feel like I'm being far too selfish and just looking out for myself just to survive, like I think it's true. You get to a place where you're just like, I'm just trying to get through the day. I'm just trying to get through the day,
But that's okay.
Which is okay.
That's okay.
You're absolutely right. I'm thinking about the lyrics. That, you can't, I suppose the first lyric in your life, you cannot be neutral, but you can be kind. I think that's what it is. You can have opinions about things, hard and fast opinions, but you can still be loving at the same time. So I guess that's what I'm getting at.
Denison Witmer, thanks for the music, the album, and let's hear it. This is Making Love on XPN.
Thanks.
In your life, you cannot be neutral, but you can be kind. You will find you must pick a hill on which you choose to die. Are you making love? Love is all around you. Love is simple, love is true. Right before you make a move, it's there for you to choose. Who am I to tell you what you should be doing with your life? At the same time living mine, knowing my indifference is a way of taking sides instead of making love. Feeling uninspired, echoing the choir, ambivalent and tired, and instead of making. Are you making love? Try it again with more heart. See the ending as the start. Even when things fall apart, it all belongs to love. In my life, I must pick a hill on which I choose to die. Am I making love?